You need to get knocked down before you can really figure out what your fight is and how you need to fight it. Sometimes you need to feel the pain and sting of defeat to activate the real passion and purpose that God predestined inside of you. God says in Jeremiah, I know the plans I have for you. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Hear me well on this day. This day when you have reached the hilltop and you are deciding on next jobs, next steps, careers, further education. You would rather find purpose than a job or a career. Purpose crosses disciplines. Purpose is an essential element of you. It is the reason you are on the planet at this particular time in history. Your very existence is wrapped up in the things you are here to fulfill. Whatever you choose for a career path, remember the struggles along the way are only meant to shape you for your purpose. When God has something for you, it doesn't matter who stands against it. If it's meant for you, God will move someone that's holding you back away from a door and put someone there who will open it for you. I don't know what your future is, but if you're willing to take the harder way, the more complicated one, the one with more failures at first than successes, the one that has ultimately proven to have more meaning, more victory, more glory, then you will not regret it. Press on with pride and press on with purpose and appreciate what God has brought you through.
Two, three, four.
I was born by the river in a little tent, and oh, just like the river I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. It's been too hard to live it, but I'm afraid to die, 'cause who knows what's up there beyond the sky. It's been a long time coming. I know, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. And then I go to my brother, and I say, brother, help me please. And he winds up knocking me back down on my knees. Whoa, there've been times that I thought, whoa, I would last too long, but now I think I'm able to carry on. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. Oh, yes it will. It's gonna change. It's gonna change. Oh, yes it will.
Zeta 5 Beta's got soul. Zeta 5 Beta's got soul. Zeta 5 Beta's got soul. I love my Z5. I love my Z5. Zeta 5 Beta's got soul. I love my Z5. I love my Z5.
Popcorn World. Popcorn World. Yeah. Can I make you groove now? Yes, I can. So you can get this groove in a bag of a can. I can make it round the world when it holds in your hand. Popcorn World. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. I said popcorn make you smile. Ah. Popcorn World. Popcorn World. Popcorn World. It's a popcorn world. The popcorn world.
Our partners at BetOnline continue to be the #1 source for all your betting needs and sports info. Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your man, Lloyd Spencer. You need to find all of the latest sports developments, including updated odds on the NBA playoff fight and even next season's futures at BetOnline. And don't forget that Major League Baseball is back as well. Who are you picking to win the World Series? Listen, BetOnline is your continued source for all your sports wagers, including live betting and your favorite Vegas casino and poker games. It's super easy to get started, so head to the website today and use your mobile device to join us using our promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, that's BLEAV, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your device. BetOnline.
What's that saying? Breaking down the room, I'm smiling now. Speaking for the people who was around. Taking truth to power. The whisper and the shout. We're talking noise. Oh yeah, talking noise. Hey yeah, say it again, say we're talking noise. Yeah, talking noise. Really don't have to fool around. Never noise keeps us under. When truth divine, the sound that you hear is the sound of success. We're talking noise. Oh yeah, talking noise. Yeah, picking up all the sound. We're talking noise. Yeah, yeah. Talking noise. Say it again. We're talking noise. Welcome to Talkin NOIZ, the daily podcast that brings you up to speed and keeps you informed about real issues affecting real people. With your host, Mr. Talkin NOIZ himself, Lloyd Spence. His beautiful wife, Mrs. NOIZ, Kenyatta Spence. The ever-informed Brother NOIZ, Alan Brown. And yours cordially, Uncle NOIZ, Shake Anderson. Come on in and join us as we reveal and opine today's most pressing issues. Real truth while having real fun. Talkin NOIZ is in your house right now. So sit back and enjoy Talkin NOIZ.
Y'all know what that is. Y'all know what that is.
Julie, hey, guess what day it is?
Y'all know what day it is.
Mike,
Come on now.
What day is it, Mike?
Come on.
Listen, guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Wrong. It is Women's Wednesday on Hump Day. That's different. He had it almost. He was close. What's going on, my people?
Chilling like a bug.
Live in the building. We back at the old time. Behold, old things are new, or new things are old.
Oh Lord.
I don't know what this scripture would apply to this, but this we back at the other time from the other time.
Okay.
We literally just did a show last night.
Sure.
How y'all feeling? Y'all good?
Good morning.
Good.
We got a very special guest with us. The lovely Soror extraordinaire.
Indeed.
A true, I can't roll my R's. A Renaissance woman.
Ah, that's it. Good job.
Writer, actor, director,
Creator,
creator,
content,
author,
creator,
content
all
creator,
spouse, mother.
and all around bad.
And woman of Zeta Phi Beta sorority incorporated.
You know what? I was gonna get to that. Why you guys still? You know what? If you pause in front of a Zeta, that's a wrap. They're taking that space.
It's true.
The lovely Patrice Moreaux is with us, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, back with us, back in the building one more again. How you doing?
Thank you. I'm good. Thank you for having me. Good morning. Good morning.
Good to see you. Look at this eclectic background that she has. It's artistic. It's got. She's giving you flowers. She's giving you sunshine. She's giving you ray of joy. She's giving you. Woo!
Oh,
Okay.
those are my paintings.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just giving it all
And
to her.
the painter?
Oh, I just splashed some stuff around.
What is it that you don't do? Like we should
I
probably start
mean-
listening to things that she
No.
don't do.
Sing. I cannot carry two tunes.
Okay, so
Period.
next time you come on, like she do everything but sing.
Right.
No. No.
That's how I'm gonna start introing you from going forward.
Mm-mm.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, look at Ron starting out on a positive note. You
Oh,
are beautiful
look.
and you are worthy.
Something
Yes,
wonderful is going to
yes,
happen
thank
today,
you.
I'm sure.
I mean, we are really in a weird place right now, Ron, because they don't normally talk like that at Slide In Missionary Baptist Church.
Right.
Real
Ron look, he sent for a letter.
Yeah, it's a real different vibe over there, Soror. You've never been, but trust me, don't go. So we go start. We go start. Soror, have you ever met white organists?
Who?
No.
Have you met white organists?
I don't think so.
You haven't met? Oh, you gonna?
I'm bad with names, but I'm very good with faces.
Well, his name is White Organist, so I don't know if you would have.
Doesn't seem like I would forget that though.
Well, well, let me introduce you to White Organist, and Al,
and let me let you know that we've never seen his face.
We have seen his. That's not true. We have seen White Organist's face.
No,
Have you seen him face?
Yes,
I was gonna say
it's like
that one show where the guy's on the other side of the fence and
no,
he'd be like,
White Organist. White Organist. Can I take it? Can I video you while you play, or just show it on the screen on my phone? He said yes, so we're fine. I'll let you see him. Hold on, just give me a second while we open the service. Yes, thank you, White Organist. There he is, right there, getting his boogie on. Wait a minute. Play, White Organist, play. He's doing his thing. Well, we call the worship service to order now. We have a lovely special evangelist coming into it. She does everything but sing. She's not going to sing an age selection for you before she preaches. That's not what she do. You got the wrong evangelist for that, ladies and gentlemen. But she is going to give you a word from the Lord. And we're going to have a good time. Grab your church fans, grab your Bibles, make your ways into the pews. The pews, you know, and we're going to have a good time in the Lord's. At our old time, this is a midday service, a rare midday service, but not really because we've been doing a midday service since this thing started. So there you go. Thank you, White Organist. He's so good. He's so good.
my gosh.
He tested out his Easter suit on us yesterday. He looked fantastic, Patrice. It's white with pink pinstripes and glitter. It's very nice. It's a very nice suit.
Had he got the reversible vest, he could have worn it again today.
It was extra for the reversible vest and where he's checking the service. He's already sent out for cleaning though. It's gonna be ready by Sunday.
Easter Sunday.
Yeah. Are you going to Easter Sunday this weekend, Patrice? Are you going?
I'm not certain. I know
Okay.
that the day before, we have the Zetas and the Sigmas have a big Easter egg hunt that we do for the children in a shelter.
Oh wow! Okay.
Battered shelter. So they come out and we do that Saturday. So
I ain't been to a good Easter egg hunt in a long time.
I know, right?
I like the ones where they give you money.
Oh, in the plastic egg.
That's always nice. Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't like eggs, so I could care less about them eggs. But if you give me money, I'm all in.
You don't like eggs?
Oh no.
Oh my goodness.
But full disclosure, Patrice, I'll do anything for my baby, even eat eggs.
Wow.
Because we were dating, I would fix him breakfast. I fixed him breakfast while we were dating, and he ate them eggs every time and did not. I mean, you would have never guessed that he hated them.
Wow. That's
then
crazy.
as soon as he carried me over the threshold on our honeymoon, he said, please don't fix me no more eggs.
That's crazy. That's
interesting.
So
Most women say, "Oh wow, that is beautiful." Most men was like, "See, he was a liar."
I'm just trying to figure out, when did you dislike eggs?
Oh, I've always disliked eggs. I've never liked eggs.
No, I think it was your grandmother that caused you to have the like for not, disliking eggs.
Right. That's what I just said. I've always disliked them. Like my grandfather and grandmother, they used to fix me eggs all the time. I'm like, I don't want this. They're like, you gonna sit down and eat them eggs? And I was like, if it means I can get up and go, fine, I'll eat the egg. But I didn't like them.
Oh my goodness. Like I love eggs from my head down to my legs.
Right.
Okay?
Right. Same here.
Scrambled.
But right now we're doing one of those. Right now, we're doing one of those old school Sesame Street boxes where one of these things is not like the other. I think I'm the only of the four of us that don't like eggs. I can't stand them. I just think they're disgusting. They're wonderful to cook with. Wonderful to cook with. You can't cook some of the best things in the world without eggs.
Oh, okay.
Great binding agent. Can't stand the taste though. And what's funny is I, from time to time, like maybe once every 2 years, I'll eat an omelet.
Wow.
What was that?
The omelet is the business. Like,
I like if you can fix it right, I like a good omelet.
Omelets are the business.
Why are you looking at that tone of voice?
Scrambled with ketchup.
No, that's nasty. What are you doing? Ketchup. That just sounds like some hood stuff.
Oh my gosh, I can't.
We're here though. We're here to have a good time. I mean, we obviously off to a really good start right now. A couple of church announcements real quick. We will be off tomorrow night because we have a special interview tomorrow. We are interviewing Believe in the ACC. We couldn't get her any other time, but we wanted to get her because she is near and dear to our heart. She's the new head coach of Florida State's women basketball coach, Brooke Wyckoff. I always jack up her name. But she's joining us tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, so we don't want to miss that tomorrow night. And so that means that Talkin NOIZ will not be back until Friday night. So we will be back on Friday night. And then, of course, tonight, apparently the championship in NBA has already been decided if you ask Minnesota, but nevertheless, we're going to talk about the actual championship NBA playoffs tonight on the 5. I'm sure it will be spirited, to say the least. So that'll be tonight at 7 p.m.
Because Big Cat and the Flea were on.
They was celebrating like they won the greatest championship of all time. I was like, man, y'all just made the playoffs. Y'all
right. You captured the lowest seed. Hip, hip.
Right. Congratulations. Hey. What are we talking about right now? But anyway, we got a fun show today. A very interesting show today because we've been talking in this series of like last night, we talked about when is enough. We talked about how that related to Will Smith and Jada Smith's situation. Should Will walk away from that situation because he done gave everything he could give? And the woman done told you she don't want to be married. She told you she'd like to move on. She told you all the things that you need to hear to know that this ain't what she want to do. I'm married to I want my love with another man. I've been entangled with my son's best friend. Anything you want to hear to make you leave a marriage, she did it. She told him that. And so we asked the question, when is enough? Because we'll keep fighting. We keep fighting for her. And you know, it just seemed like a lot, but we talked about that last night. So now we're going to build on that conversation. And I want to start with a very controversial situation. There's a podcast. I guess it's a podcast. The New Amsterdam Vodka, I guess is that what it's called? But anyway, Cam Newton, I think, has a podcast. And he was on his podcast talking about women. And he made some comments that really got the interweb and Black Twitter all in a flutter. Here's those comments.
I had a perfect example of what a man was in my life by my father. My parents have been together for 36, 37 years now, and it's a beautiful thing. I grew up in a 3-parent household, my mom, my father, and my grandmother. Okay. And I knew what a woman was, not a bad bitch.
Okay, what's the difference?
A woman.
Okay. So this is Cam.
Yes, Cam and another
person who's just, you know, girl, I'm a bad bitch. You know, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I look the part, but I don't act the part.
Okay.
You know, and it's a lot of women who are bad bitches. And I say bitches in a way, not to degrade a woman, but just to go off the aesthetic of what they deem is a boss chick. Now, a woman for me is handling your own, but knowing how to cater to a man's needs, right? And I think a lot of times when you get that aesthetic of like, I'm a boss bitch, like I'm a this, I'm a that. No, baby, like, but you can't cook.
Okay.
You don't know when to be quiet. You don't know how to allow a man to lead.
Well, now that's just a lot there. So needless to say,
we're off.
Needless to say, the interweb was quite upset at young Cam for his comments. It even made First Take. It was so inflammatory. So it brought me to this question. Because while some people on the internet are really upset, some people are not. They just didn't say nothing. Because there are a lot of brothers that feel exactly that way. And there are a lot of brothers. Now, here's where it gets real controversial. A lot of brothers think that about black women to the point where they say, and that's why I don't mess with them. Because they don't know how to do this and they don't know how to do that. And they're so interested in doing this and doing that than just being here for me as a black man. So I'm going to go get a woman that's going to cater to my needs, like Wahite or an Asian woman who are taught to be submissive. I'm quoting now. It's not my feelings. I'm just quoting. So my question to everybody today is, are we in this together or not? Are black men and black women in this together or not? Are we not in this together? Look at the looks on these ladies' faces. Y'all look like you're just ready to go plumb off. And we're here for it. Doggone it, here at Talkin Noise, we're here for it. Should I go get white organist just in case y'all ramp up to a real good crescendo? Because he can follow. He follows well.
I guess we know when to be quiet.
Well, we're starting off hot, aren't we? This escalated quickly. Okay, go ahead.
I know that was Team Petty, but
listen, but you're matching his petty energy. He said, "Y'all don't know when to be quiet," and I wish he would have clarified that because I think I know what he meant, but damn, like I don't know. You should have said it that way, bro. Like. But okay, y'all tell me your thoughts. Let's go with your first thoughts, reactions to what he said. I won't clean up anything he said to start out with. Go ahead.
Soror, you want to go first?
Oh my, look at this. This is
You know what? I will. You go right ahead, my dear. You go first. I need to gather my thoughts.
Y'all that. Oh man.
Yeah, that was me. That's why I asked. It's a lot to unpack.
Y'all want Al to go first?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, Al, you go first because
I'll go first. And you've asked several questions.
I have, yes.
We are most definitely not in this together. His statement alone exemplifies or magnifies, exposes the fact that we are not, because he has a very foolish, immature interpretation of help meet. Does not mean a servant. Sounds to me like he is looking for a servant. And so to his statement, there are a host of women who are boss women. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They are take charge type of women, and that's fine. And we've learned through conversations that we've had with some women on this show that some women don't know how to be a spouse, just like some men don't know how to be a spouse. If we want to be biblical, God intended for a man to lead his home. Now, is that to say that a woman should step aside for a man that doesn't know how to lead? Absolutely not. But Unfortunately, there are some women that think or know, whatever the case may be, that they can do it better, and they refuse to step aside and give a male an opportunity. That's as far as I will agree, as loosely as it is, with Mr. Newton, that some women don't allow men to lead. And then I'm stopping there, because after that, he goes way left and jumps deep into a pile of cow manure. So
there is a concept, a psychological concept offered by the prophet Sigmund Freud called the Oedipus complex. And I will read this as it is defined. The complex of emotions aroused in a young child, typically around the age of 4, by an unconscious sexual desire for the parent of the opposite sex, wish to exclude the parent of the same sex. So I'll break that down just a little bit. Freud theorizes that all small boys select their mother as their primary object of desire. They subconsciously wish to usurp their fathers and become their mother's lovers. It's a subconscious thing. Typically, these desires emerge between the ages of 3 and 5, when a boy is what Freud defines as the phallic stage of development. Now, what makes the theory interesting is that if you study the theory out, Freud believes that subconsciously, as a young man evolves, he then desires to find a woman similar to the traits of his mother, if his mother is one that is, a good person and, falls along certain whatever in his mind. So, with that being stated, I listened to what Cam said, and Cam said, my parents, this is the part we all missed, my parents have been married 34 years. My father was a good example to me. And I watched my parents be married for 34 years. And my mother is a good mother. So if he thinks that his parents are a model example for him, then naturally what he would look for in a wife would be similar to that of his mother. So if she is subservient, if she is docile in some places, not weak, but just docile. She doesn't, she's not a loud person. She doesn't buck up against him or whatever that imagery is in his head. If she doesn't do certain things, then in his mind, that is a woman of perfection. So I think, this is my theory, he arrived at this unbelievable ideology because of that, because maybe his mom does not do certain things and holds certain characteristics that here's where it gets sticky for me, that you see a lot of modern young ladies hold. Remember, he said the difference between a woman and a bad bitch. Okay, well, maybe in his mind, he's saying most of the young girls I run into act like this. I like the girls that act more like my mother. So that's my theory. I don't know if it carries a lot of merit to it, but that's what I'm running with today.
And I'm gonna give the ladies 30 more seconds to gather their thoughts as
right.
I
Because we buying y'all some time right now.
As I pontificate on this. Then, sir, stick to what you prefer and don't go out and try to make women that don't fit your mold be the woman that you desire, because you're trying to shove a square peg in a round hole. But you can't then criticize women who desire not to be the example of a spouse that you want.
I'm gonna let the ladies go first because I have more, but I want to hear what the ladies got to say.
Dun 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 dun.
Well, I totally agree with what's been said. And to piggyback on what Al was saying, that's the first thing I was gonna say is, you talk double-minded, because one minute you're saying you want this, this woman, this and so that, but yet you choose the woman that you say you hate. You choose her.
No.
Oh, go ahead, Soror.
Black men speak with.
No,
she's giving you that part.
You choose the woman you say you hate, and then you continue to have babies by her. You done made this woman into a baby factory where it's like, okay, how many more what other guys she gonna be able to marry when she done had this gaggle of children for your tail because you saying I don't want that. I don't want the bad one. I want this one over here. But the bad one is the one that turns you on. That's the one that lights your candle. That's the one that you saying, well, she may be bad, but and then you show our children, because you're a person in the limelight. You're a celebrity. You show them that you show the girls that are the ones that you say you want to be with, that they're not worthy. You show them that they're not well, you don't want that one, you want that one. So then when all these girls grow up and they're growing up into some of these bad ones, it's because that's what they think y'all want. That's the ones that's the baddies, or whatever the little nickname is now. That's the baddies. That's the ones that I want that one right there. That's the one that when you get your little contract, that's what the one you choose. That's the one that you standing out somewhere at some red carpet somewhere. That's the one you. But then soon as she opened her mouth or says that I'm my own boss or whatever, then it's I don't want that. Well, make up your mind, because you sending out mixed messages.
Nicole, who is Travis Kelce, her name is Nicole or Kayla or something. Is it Kayla Nicole? Is that what it is? Kayla Nicole, yes. She's the longtime fiance and girlfriend of Travis Kelce. She said this man said that you need to be able to cook and know when to be quiet because that's what his mama did. Like, boy, go date your mama then. Pretty sure the average woman is capable of making edible food. How do you think she survived thus far? It's really not a matter of can she cook. It's more like does she want to cook for your hungry hippo ass. That's pretty much all. And then she called him a bozo, an unemployed bozo.
Ooh, Soror, you said a mouthful.
Mm-hmm.
You were on point. That's the thing. Like, we've been talking about this for how long? About this bad bee. This is what we feel is expected. Now, some of us, we're not going to rise to that occasion because we don't fit the mold.
Mm-hmm.
Quite honestly, when I think about when he says his definition of a bad bee is, I'm like, I don't even know if is that even accurate. I don't know. Maybe not. Is it that in order to be a bad bee, you got to be a boss? Because can you just be a regular person and still have it together?
What is a boss? Like when the children of today think of a boss bee, I feel every time I ever hear that word, I feel so uncomfortable. But what does it mean to be a boss? Like, I don't understand what that means. Like, I'm old, so boss to me means you own a company or you run a company.
Is it an independent woman? And can she be independent and still be a woman of integrity? So
what does independent woman mean today, though?
I think it means something different to everyone.
I agree.
I think that's part of the problem. The way we define that definition, like we were talking last night about a young man who's just who's about to go to college. He's a 5-star basketball player. And his mama, her name is Johnny Lee, and she's an Instagram model. And got a Fashion Nova deal. But what we didn't talk about, Al, is that she's 41.
We had talked about that initially when we first talked about Drake.
I forgot her age though. I didn't know she was 41. So there's rumors out there that she's like chasing after John Moran or some other players or whatever. And I'm saying, ma'am, but on our Instagram is listed as model and mom and entrepreneur. And I'm like, well, entrepreneur, what business are you running? Like, are you? I guess he said, I'm running my own business. I am the brand. I'm a business.
He is.
That is exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
Business does not have to be defined to call yourself an entrepreneur.
Right.
So what's okay? So let's unpack that a little bit. Is that bad if your spouse or your mate has figured out a way to bring the bag home that is maybe a little unconventional, but still substantive and meaningful to the growth of the financial growth of your family? Is that a bad thing? Like, is that? And she don't cook. She's like, I'll DoorDash for you, but that ain't what I do.
I don't know. That's a difficult question for me to answer because I cook.
Right.
I'm very traditional, but I see nothing wrong with, also contributing financially, as long as, for me, it has to be something of integrity. Not saying that, anyone else isn't, but for me, that's the standard that I go by. It has to be something that is of integrity. If I'm bringing home a check as well, I'm contributing financially. We're building an empire. To me, it's always about teamwork. I'm about building. So I think it's okay. But I mean, I grew up, my mom cooked, my grandmother cooked, I cook.
Does it make a difference if one's bringing home 90 cents and the other's bringing home a dime?
No.
As long as there's $1 in the bank account, right?
Right. To me, it doesn't matter. I have said this before. I don't care about money. Money is not, to me, it's a means. You need it to survive, but it's not a necessity outside of that. So as long as we have each other and we can make it, that's all I need. I don't need flashy this. I don't need to wear my money. I don't need to drive my money. I don't need to come home to my money. Give me a place to lay my head. Give me a loving relationship, a teamwork, a friendship. That's what I want. So
who should be cooking?
Whoever is talented enough to do it. Do it together. One person do it, the other person do it. I cook, so I cook.
Okay.
But I think the same thing with finances. I mean, if the woman is more talented in the finance area, then she should be able to handle the finances. I personally don't think that should take away from the man if he's not talented in that area, and it shouldn't, at least.
So that brings me to some of what the chat said. Zaria made a great statement here. She said independent women can be interpreted in numerous ways, but the idea of an independent woman to me is someone who's willing to take risks, make moves under God, fight their way on their destined path. I like that. She said and Ron says we are letting immature people create labels for what we call people. That is the reason label on people do not make sense. He very much brought a very traditional, old school Southern, I would even say Southern thought process to this conversation of you don't know how to cook. You don't know how to be quiet. Is that part of the problem as to why the challenges of understanding all of this is because we're using ideologies from a past that is not relevant, or is it still relevant today? But we just need to clarify a few things. What are your guys' thoughts on that? Should the woman be quiet and silent? You know, some churches will tell you right in a minute, the women need to be silent. You know, there's that type of stuff. So, and they mean across the board, like they don't just be in church.
I guess it kind of depends. So, I mean, do you want a servant, or a black woman? And I can only speak from a black woman's perspective because I am a black woman. She's gonna hold you down, and she's not gonna hold you back. She's gonna hold you down. So sometimes she's going to hold you accountable. Now, I don't understand exactly what he means when he says she don't know how to be quiet. I mean, that sounds like a dictator a little bit to me. Now, I think that you should sometimes hold your tongue. You don't just say whatever you're thinking, whatever comes to mind. I think you should be wise in what you say, speak the truth in love, but be quiet. What does that mean? I mean, if she's running her mouth and about stuff that makes no sense, that's one thing. But is it just in general, he just doesn't want her to say anything? It wasn't really clear. I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
It's so funny that I was watching this show last night. One of my shows, I'm sure.
Is it a documentary?
Huh? No, it wasn't. You know what, Patrice, they be giving me the business because I watch documentaries on here. So let me just tell you, that's what that little thing was there.
No, never said
is that on the documentary they had some church that was kind of like a cult, and every time the man's wife would speak up, she said, "Well, I think," and he would go, And,
this was a documentary?
No, it was a TV show. That's why I said it was a documentary. Okay. And so every time she got ready to say something, he was like, and then she, like, oh yeah, that's right, I'm supposed to be quiet. And it's like every time one of the women would get ready to say something, he'd be like, and they was like, oh yeah, we're supposed to be quiet. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is what we're talking like today. So I can't imagine being in a marriage where I'm just supposed to be quiet.
I bet Lloyd can.
I can imagine. I can imagine.
No, you can't. No, you can't. Because when I'm quiet, he knows something's wrong.
I'll say this.
Go ahead.
At one point, there was a group of people, a society that thought centaurs were real. There was a time when people thought Pegasus were real, and dragons and unicorns. What Cam Newton searches is not real. It was a different day, a different time. Probably when his parents, they come from a different era. So I don't think the type woman that he is looking for even exists anymore. You know what I mean? And I don't think that's a bad thing.
I wonder if, though extremely poorly stated, did he mean to say, I don't want a woman who is argumentative?
Fix it, Pastor.
I'm just wondering. I don't know. I'm not trying to step in any further than he has.
He and Miss Proctor started dating in what, 2013, 14?
Well, see, that's just it. I don't even know if he's still dating her.
He's not
dating. Yeah, I think he's dating somebody else.
They've not been together since 2020.
Right.
So they were together for 7-8 years.
Mm-hmm.
And as Mama Noise stated, quote, end quote, gaggle of kids. After a gaggle of kids, rumor has it that he cheated on her with an Instagram model and she had enough. So, sir, based on your previous statement, are these the examples of a man that you learned from your husband? I mean, from your father?
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's the thing. Mama Noise hit it on the head. She kind of stole my thunder, but I appreciate that because it just shows that I allow my woman to speak. No,
You allow her.
I'm kidding.
Lightning.
I'm kidding. Okay. But when you said that you out here sleeping with the women that you say you don't want, that's to me is the hypocrisy of the whole thing that you're talking about. Like, bruh, if that's what you want, if your ideal woman is your mom, okay, and you want a woman that's similar traits to your mom, then why are you not holding back all of the sex that you having to find a woman that you want? Wait,
you don't want the sex of a woman like that.
Because the Bible says, why stand ye there gazing?
It's that unrealistic expectation that is put on us. It's that bad B, she's bad. Well, she looks, she is fun. She's beautiful.
Yeah, she's bad in a different way.
Outward. And the thing is that even with a bad B, we still need to be pouring into them. We still need to be pouring into them, and we're not. So I agree when he said we're not in this together. No, we're not, because first of all, we're creating a division between, and I think all women are beautiful, regardless of shape, size, color. We're all beautiful. But we are creating, or society is creating a division. I see there's nothing wrong with wanting to have someone similar to your mom if she holds certain standards. But I also agree with you when you say, okay, well, if that's what you want someone who has that level of integrity and is that type of person, then you also need to be that type of person, because it's hypocritical if you're not.
Oh, Cam.
I'm just saying, it seems like to me you say you want the passive chick, but you want the sex of the boss bee. But you don't want her independence. You don't want her, you don't want her to be outspoken. You don't want her to, I need you to just be quiet.
But we can
give me the sex of a bad bee.
We can look at the other side of the coin also and say, women have struggled with that over the course of time as well, because they want the dependable, trustworthy guy, but they want that bad boy also.
See, that ain't me. I want that dependable, trustworthy guy. It is not about looks. It's not about having a 6-pack, 12-pack. No, it's not about a big bank account. Don't care. Have had those options. Didn't go that route because that's not me. So for me, it ain't about that. How you treat me. How are you? Excuse me. Are you an honest person? Are you going to love me for me?
So let me go to the other side for just a second. Is he all the way wrong?
Not all the way. I don't think he's all the way wrong, but he's wrong. I think he misunderstands.
Well, I guess the reason why I say that is because he lives in a world where, as a professional athlete, he's not meeting. Ooh, this is gonna sound inflammatory, but I'm not sure I'm wrong when I say it. He's not necessarily meeting a lot of women that carry the docility of his mom. They're not coming to the club, covered from head to toe, and well, I'm gonna make you wait 90 days, and that girl's not there. She's trying to win because it's a race to figure out what I need to do to get the baller, the shot caller. I am a bad bee, and I present these things so I can get this type of man.
Lloyd and Kenyatta, y'all both from Louisville.
Yes.
Y'all remember the radio show used to sign off here in Louisville, Kentucky. And at the end of that show, that radio's broadcast for the day, it ended with, if you can't change the people you around, change the people you around. Translation, if you can't find
what you're looking for,
sir, then you need to go somewhere else. So if those people aren't in his circle, he needs to find another shape. He needs to go where those people are.
I think he sees them. Honestly, he may not see them in the club, but I think he sees them. But I think he's not. Well, he's not looking, and that's the thing. He knows them. He's seen them.
He sees them, but he don't recognize them.
Sure.
Well, but do people turn down free food to wait for the chef to cook?
Huh?
Do people turn down free food waiting for the chef to cook?
I mean, some people do.
Because he's being offered opportunity after opportunity, and he's saying no. I want a chef who's trained and takes the time in the kitchen and cooks the food and really prepares it, and I really want this wonderful thing. But at the same time, people keep door dashing to him.
Lies. He's in front of the Chinese store at the mall. Sample.
Y'all
somebody's holding the sample.
Y'all notice he didn't say anything about relationship. Period. Or did I miss it? I'm sorry. Did I miss it?
No.
I didn't hear anything about relationship.
Because all I heard was she don't know how to cook. She don't know how to be quiet. That's what I heard.
Yeah.
She. Okay. Just checking.
But you know what's so funny is I see him talking about all what he wants. Have we said this? He talked about what he wants, but he didn't talk about what he has to offer. Are you trying to get married? Are you trying to settle down? No.
Because he said himself that he didn't feel like he was husband material, which is why he never proposed to Kia. He thought he wasn't husband material.
So I just want to say, go lay down.
Oh my.
Yeah.
If you're not husband material, but then you want to try to come for the women and talk about you don't know how to do this, you don't know how to do it. What does it matter? You a drive-through, bro. You ain't trying to stay. You want fast food. So what are we really talking about? You don't know how to cook. You ain't trying to stay nowhere. What does it matter? You deserve DoorDash.
Yeah, that did not make sense. That didn't make sense to me. I mean, what are you trying to do?
Just have something to say.
So I understand what you're saying, Kieta. I get exactly what you're saying. Again, I'm just for conversation purposes, I want to offer a counterbalance. If you've been inundated with constant and continual opportunity to have free food, you may not know maybe you don't understand. Like, he's seen his parents' marriage, but he really has not investigated what it took to get it. And in the world that he lives in, everything's accessible. Everything. He does not have to work. He can literally walk out of his house every day and find whatever sexual situation he would like to find himself in, probably. Whatever that may be. On the financial level, we talked about this earlier in the week. You have the options of what your finances will allow you to have. So his finances have afforded him the opportunity to have a lot of options.
Okay.
So does it make it harder to find what you're looking for when your options are so? Listen, that's why they tell you not to go to the grocery store hungry, because if you got hunger and money, it's a bad combination. You're probably going to buy way more than you're supposed to buy. You're probably going to walk out with more than you should have. You're probably going to create a bigger financial problem for yourself than you anticipated. That's kind of where Cam Newton is. He has all this money, a hunger and a desire that is off the charts. So he just keeps slamming girls and having babies.
I see your point, but
I'm just throwing out a counter argument.
I see the point that you're making, but
You're not letting them off the hook.
there's woke folks that got a lot of women too. So,
But do they have bad bees though?
sometimes, yes, because again, we're not pouring into them. They don't know who they are. They don't know. They basically, people look at them because of how they look on the exterior.
Okay, so based on what you just said, Patrice, it may not be all Cam's fault. If they don't know what they are and what they have and what they're, then maybe that's part of the problem. He's saying you don't know what you really are, and I'm not all the way developed, so we just listen.
He don't know who he is.
I just said that, Mama Noise.
I just want to make sure we put that in there. He don't know who he is. I'm talking about he know she doesn't know who she. You don't know who you are. You can only reach back for your mother and father. For all you know, it was back then. However old his parents are, some of them just got together, wasn't in love, wasn't none of that. He just providing. And then they just say, well, once we got together, he been providing all this time. He may got a family on the other side of town, but after all this time, we still together because, that's what marriage was. There wasn't no, I got enough money to divorce. What is that? They've been together for a long time. And some of us be going around putting it on the chest. Well, my parents was married for 50 years. Okay, but what was the circumstances? Do they love each other? Was it an arrangement? Did he get her pregnant? What happened? There's a host of different stories as to how they got together or why they still together. Ain't no sense in breaking up now. It's too expensive. The kids are gone and everything, but we've been together already, too long. Ain't no sense in starting over. I mean, is it all that you making it out to be?
So you bring up an interesting layer to this that I hadn't considered. I'll say me. What's the real problem? Is it men who don't? If Cuz was here, he'd say it's men. Black men need to be better, and we've got to fight for these black women. And I'll do this because Cuz is not here. Defenders of the earth. That's just But is it really as simple as that? That black men aren't the ones doing what they're supposed to do? Because, like we said last night, guys like Will Smith, they out here. I don't know what else that man can do.
I don't think you can put it all on the man, to be honest. You can't put it all on the man. It's too broad and too general because there's a lot of black men that are out there doing what they're supposed to do. So you can't put it all on them. Also, I think you make a good point when you say that sometimes, you do have some women that are just offering it up to them, I'll give you an example, and I'm not going to mention a name, but years ago, this is when I lived in Minneapolis. I was coming down the escalator, getting ready to go up the escalator. And there was a certain someone that people know who approached me, and he's like, don't you know who I am? Don't you know who I am? And I looked at him and I'm like, no, walked right up the steps. It was him and somebody else. But that expectation, because most people would, fall at his feet, grovel just because, he was who he was and he had money. That doesn't work for me. That's your money, first of all. It's not mine. That's yours. You're famous. I don't give two flying flips. It's not benefiting me. So I think you can't put all of the blame on the black men, and that's the problem. Yes, we're supposed to be looking to our black men for leadership, and we do. But you can't put all of the blame on them, because we also have women who basically look for men who have money and will only talk to men who have money.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's ridiculous, because you miss out on someone great. Like, why do you want somebody who has a whole bunch of money that's going to treat you like dirt? Why? so you can have a good life? Is life really good? Don't sound like it to me.
But I want to offer another thing. If you have money, should you rescue someone?
Uh-oh, wait a minute.
Rescue someone how?
So, so we played clips yesterday in regards to the Smith family. And I think it's safe to say that we all walked away from those clips thinking, man, Will tried to rescue Jada. Like she was, I don't know. Jada's a lot. Maybe Jada's a real bad example to this entire conversation, but she got a lot going on. she had a lot going on with her. She still has a lot going on. And Will really went above and beyond to try to make her happy. And she's still not happy. And it doesn't feel like they're together. Like they don't feel together. And so, right. So I'm transferring a little bit of that over to Cam in this regard. How do you help somebody that won't help themselves? How do you bring it together when you're trying to make, I don't know, I'm trying to understand the depth of how you make somebody happy. Or can you make somebody happy that's miserable, or can you rescue somebody from a situation if they don't want to be rescued?
I see the correlation. Are you?
Yeah, absolutely.
I see the correlation that you're making between Cam and Will. But first off, I'm going to say this, and this is probably, I don't know, a lot of people are probably going to disagree with me, but this is the first thing I'm going to say about the whole Will and Jada incident.
Okay.
Let's not forget, first of all, that he was defending a Black woman. The Black woman is the most disrespected, right? We're talked about, we have, there's a problem with us having weave and wigs and things when everybody else does it, but it's a problem for us. It's questionable that, our hair can actually grow from our heads. We don't fit the Western standards of beauty because our bodies are shaped differently.
Mm-hmm.
And we're always poked fun of. So I want to first say, I'll say kudos to him for defending her. However, I don't think he chose the best method to defend her.
Okay.
He could have just stayed in his seat and said, keep my wife's name out your mouth. Right. And he wouldn't be banned. Now, I don't agree with them banning him for 10 years because what they did is they made an example of a Black person because they didn't do the same thing for other people. Yeah, they did it for the director of
Weinstein.
But the rest of them, all the stuff that they haven't been banned. So I didn't think that was cool. But we knew that they were going to make an example.
Right.
Now, I said that before I say this. I think that society has put so much stress on, should I say society? Us as Black people. I think we kind of contributed to that because of this whole thing with Will and Jada. But Jada also has to take ownership of some of this because she's put their business out in the street. Everybody knows what's going on in that house. I feel like Will still loves her. I don't know how she. He loves her.
He does too. I think his love for her is killing him.
It could be. It could be because there seems to be something interesting about that whole dynamic with them. I don't know that she feels the same.
Yeah, I don't think that, which is one of the reasons why we titled today's show, Are We In This Together? It doesn't feel like they in together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I just listen again. We on the outside looking in, but the windows are clear because they keep cleaning them every day.
Right.
You know, they're using red tables to clean it. You know,
what?
you get a chance to see everything that's going on in their house.
Yeah.
So when I know she thinks that she's helping them, but it don't feel like they helping them. Every time they sit down at that damn table, it looked like they pushing their family further and further back. There's one thing. Listen, Kenyatta and I are two of the most transparent people you've ever met. We don't hide much of anything, but we don't. But also we do understand how to tell the story from a helpful place, from a place that says this is what we've been through, this is what we truly have overcome this, and now we're moving forward. Whereas with Will and Jada, they right in the middle of it, and it's just like it don't feel like Will is winning in any of this. It just feel like Jada's the one building a career and winning Emmys and winning this or whatever, but Will is the butt of the joke.
And I think that's why he went on that stage. You know, I feel that's why he went on the stage. I'm not excusing what he did. I like the fact that he defended her. I just don't think he needed to use that method. But I feel like we put a lot of pressure on him. That really had him going on that stage really had nothing to do with Chris Rock. Yeah. Although I will say that was tacky because it's a different story to have short, and she rocks that hairstyle. Jada's beautiful. She rocks the hairstyle, but it's a difference between having to rock that hairstyle and making a choice to rock that hairstyle. So the comment, it was messy, but I don't think it deserved the slap. Not in that capacity.
No, I agree with that. I guess I just look at the bigger, the micro of that is what we've talked about here, but the macro of it for me is, okay, look at how do we build each other up? How do we support each other's dreams without one person having to feel like they are? See, I'm hesitating because there are certain terms we use in marriage that I don't necessarily understand why we use them. And I think the terms themselves may even be toxic. Like we say, marriage is 50-50, it's equal. Well, what do you mean by that? Like, every time I heard 50, if you understand mathematic terminology, it just means half. So I only had to bring half of myself and you bring half of yourself and that's supposed to make a whole thing? No, that's not how it's supposed to work. So it's just amazing to me. But when you look at the Smith family, the micro of the Smith family, that's what it feels like is happening. Like, and I don't even know if it's 50-50 in that situation. It might be 80-20 or 90-10. I don't know what. It doesn't feel like everybody's all in. So how do you do that? So I'm asking you ladies, how do you specifically do that in your families? How do you make sure that we're winning as opposed to I'm winning? That's a weird question, I know, but I think it's a necessary question because that's kind of what Cam is hinting to. You don't cook and you don't know how to be quiet, and I want to win. Well, that's what kids do. Kids say they want to win as opposed to, I know we mock the modern winning thing of everybody gets a trophy and all that stuff, and I think there's a merit of mocking it in some regards. But at the same time, in marriage, we are supposed to all win. Like, it's not supposed to be I won and you took the L. I won the argument and you feel like trash. That's not how that's supposed to work. So how do you ladies keep that from happening? Or do you keep it from happening?
Are you saying in a relationship? Are you saying in an argument? Or are you just saying in general? Because
in general.
When you said it, I look at it like, if you win, I win. That's how I think it should be. Now, honestly, I don't think that you're both always going to give the same percentage. And I agree with you when you were saying like the whole 50-50. How about you give 100% or 110%? Because sometimes you're going to have to pick the other person up, because we're not always going to be strong. And I think that that's going to go it goes both ways. But I think that you get to a certain point, and at some point, like, you know, and that's in their situation, maybe, you know, and this is probably going to be controversial, but maybe it's time to call it quits.
See, that's what we've been saying. At what point,
When
if
you
you feel like, go ahead, Patrice.
When you've had enough, I mean, you can only do so much. You get to a certain point, and when the bad exceedingly it exceeds, like over exceeds the good, at some point you're going to start to die inside. And when you get to that point, you're going to have to make a decision. Do you want to live or do you want to die? And I don't mean like a physical death, but I mean inside, like.
Well, it could be, though. It could be a physical death. Listen, depending on how the internal battle unfolds, it could literally be you want to take your life. And I'm going to tell you, Patrice, what makes what you're saying so powerful is, you know, we talked about that last night, that everybody has a line. Everybody has a line. Mm-hmm. You know, one of the guys said last night, well, my line is adultery. If you cheat on me, that's it. I'm done. And so I'll be honest with you, I don't even know what my line is. I don't know what my line is. Now, I'll say this publicly. I don't think Mama Noise would mind me saying it. I don't think she would. She might. Well, I don't know. Maybe I should say it. No, I'll say it. Marriage has pushed, I think, both of us to a place where we've thought about, like, do I want to keep going with this? Like, this don't feel like we're going to be able to make it. Like, early on in our marriage, it would be some days where it'd be so hard. You're just like, God, how is this going to end? Like, am I going to have to move on from this woman? Like, what is this? Like, where are we going with this? Now, we were tenacious enough to push through the tough days and the tough times. But what do you do? Like you said, Patrice, and I think you said it so eloquently, when you're just tired and it's gone on further than you wanted it to go and you don't have any more to give. You don't have an internal thing to help you push through anymore. I'm grateful to God that I've never reached that place, but when you jump on the stage and slap somebody, you're in a bad place.
But, you know, even the guys were saying last night, they were saying that, well, I think it was Kyrie specifically, that was like, you can't win fighting by yourself.
And that's been my whole thing the whole time. I think we made it through the tough times because we both fought for what we wanted with each other.
I think even more so is even before we married, we declared that divorce wasn't an option. But not just that, but also that to me, when you make that declaration beforehand that says, I'm not giving up. I'm not just going, I understand that marriage is going to cause ebbs and flows. I mean, there are going to be ebbs and flows in marriage, but I'm not going to give up. And then understanding that there are seasons in marriage, you know, okay, but to give up is just to say, you know, that's it and don't fight anymore and just, you know, what will be and all that. I don't have that in me to just say it's a wrap. I have to keep fighting. And I think that's where Will is. In spite of all of what he's gone through, oh my God.
Well, I don't know if it's where he is now.
You know,
when you go to a rehab center.
No, I'm saying that when he went on the stage. When he did that, that was him fighting. And then when we heard the audio of his book, which is now a New York best-selling book, but in his audio book, he talked about how he failed his wife, he failed his children, he failed, and how he felt that he was a coward in so many situations. So when I heard that part of his book and then saw what happened, it was like, okay, he's trying to redeem himself Like, okay, I'm this time I'm not gonna miss out on defending Jada because of what was said. This was he said what he said on the stage, the world stage, in front of everyone. And he could have kept on laughing or whatever, or ignored it and let it go on. And then somebody would have been like, man, Will, why didn't you say nothing to defend your wife? You sit up there and let that man, you know what I'm saying? Look at the other side. What you sit up there and let that man talk about your wife, you know, on the world stage like that, and you ain't even do nothing. Then it's like, soon as you go ahead and do something, then it's, I can't believe that you went ahead and went that far. It's like you
Darned
can't
if
win
you
for
do,
lose.
darned if you don't.
Right.
Yeah. No, that's exactly what I was saying, is that I feel like it's pressure. But one thing that you said, I understand completely when you say, you know, you don't want to give up. Divorce isn't an option, but I think sometimes that some people stay too long in situations. And we have to think about the fact, okay, is he being abused? You know, sometimes, and we even do this in the church. You know, the churches will do this. They'll say, stay as long as he or she is not beating your behind, stay. And what we're doing is we're damaging. Now, some people give up too early. Some people give up too soon, but some people stay too long.
And I think that's 1,000% correct. It's we can't ask people to keep fighting for something that everybody doesn't want. That's the challenge. If everybody wants it, then okay, we got to keep fighting through the tough times. But if I'm the only one that wants it, then what am I really fighting for?
Right.
You know, Sean said his mom said something to him about Will and their family today that made so much sense. On a plane, it says, if the plane is going down, make sure you put your, oh, yes.
That's right.
You put your mask on first and then help.
Word.
And I'm going to tell you something, Sean, why that's so powerful.
It is.
Because I do feel like Will is suffocating.
Mm-hmm.
I do feel like he's suffocating. And it goes back to the conversation that we had last night about Caitlyn Jenner. If she's lying, she is lying to himself about who he is, then he's not helping his family. If Will is lying to himself about where the marriage really is, then how is he helping these kids? How is he helping his family? If Jada's lying about where this family is, then how are they helping this family? They're not helping.
Well, we don't know. You mean, is he lying to the public? Because I'm pretty sure he knows to himself. He knows in himself where, or like he knows himself what's going on in that marriage. He knows where it is. We don't know if he, you know, because he seems like a very sensitive guy. And by the way, I feel like to me, that is not a weakness. It's actually a strength. If you can be that vulnerable enough to cry as a man.
Oh, absolutely.
I think that's a strength.
Absolutely.
But we don't know if he cries himself to sleep. We don't know if he is beating himself up internally because, you know, maybe he's asking himself, why don't she love me? Why don't she love me? We don't know that.
But you know what? But Patrice, you know what makes that a scary thing that you just said? Why does he have to ask himself that question?
He shouldn't. But
after 20 years,
he shouldn't.
You shouldn't still be asking that question, bro. Like,
but he's trying to keep it together because he feels like he failed in his first marriage. Am I right?
That's right.
No, you're not wrong at all. I guess my heart goes out to him because this is not how it goes back to what you said, what Al said. You're going to die in the process, though. in the process of trying to rescue something and rescue somebody that's not in it with you, you're gonna die. And therein lies the bigger, that's the micro version or the micro view of it. When you turn it out to the macro view, if we're not in it together for what we believe this is, for what we believe this can be, for what we believe we can be, then what are we really doing? The longer we lie about where we are, the more damage is being. Okay, so I'm going to say something horrible. This is going to be horrible.
It's about that time. Usually happens.
It is my truth, and I'm going to say it because it's true.
Mm-hmm.
I had a rule, a fast and hard rule in my dating life that if we have not connected in 90 days, I'm probably going to break up with you.
I didn't know that.
Yes, that was one of my personal rules. I never told people about it. It's just how I felt. The only person that actually noticed it was my mom. My mom would say to me, "You don't usually stay past 90 days." She said, "Why?" I said, "Well, because I feel like the longer I stay and I'm not happy and I don't think this is going anywhere, the more damage I'm going to do." So I just decided in my heart there was a 90 to 150 day window that I'm ready now evaluate this in a really tough place. And if this doesn't feel like it's going in the direction of this is somebody I want to spend the rest of my life with, then the only thing that can come out of this is I'm damaging you and you're damaging me. Words are being said that shouldn't be said. Things are being done that shouldn't be done. Or, God forbid, we create a situation where we're stuck with this thing for the next 18 years. So rather than go down that path, I just made it up in my mind. If I'm going to start hard evaluating after 90 days. Because I think it's fair to give it at least 90 days if you're truly dating someone. Okay. Give them 90 days to see the real person, to see who they really are, get into your first argument, kind of see what this is. And then after 90 days, you say to yourself, is this somebody I can truly build a life with? Like, is this somebody I really feel like I want to spend the rest of my life with? And if it's not, then why am I pushing past into 6 months, into a year, into 2 years, when this is not really what I want to do?
I can agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, when you're talking about connecting, you're talking about emotionally connecting. Why not? Don't waste somebody's time. They're developing feelings, and then you wait a whole year or two, and then you break their heart. It makes sense.
But Patrice, my point of bringing that up is that was my rule, 90 days, right? Will is in 20 plus years.
Because he loves her. I think he loves her.
But I don't think she loves him back. That's my point. I think she loves in the way that she is, quote unquote, capable of loving someone through the damage and the brokenness that she has. But it is her type of love is so damaging and toxic, and he's trying to show her a different thing. To me, the most heartbreaking of all the stories was when he said, "I planned the birthday party for 3 years. 3 years I planned this birthday party, and I brought Mary J. Blige, and I did this, and I debuted a movie, and blah, 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 blah. But I turned," and she said, "That was just about your ego." No, it wasn't, Jada. No, it wasn't. Not when you planned it for 3 years. No.
I didn't even.
Yeah, did he throw a little bit of?
I'm sorry. Sorry. Was this on the Red Table Talk?
Once again, this was at the Red Table.
See, that's why I haven't seen very many.
I mean, listen, I've not, and I, on top of him planning the 3-year birthday party, the fact that she even went back to, I mean, Lloyd and I regularly, we've been married now for 23 years, and we are always fully transparent on the show, on all the platforms that we're both on, and I can't imagine saying, I mean, like I said, I'm fully transparent. I'm always trying to help somebody with something I've been through, or Lloyd is the same way. But when she says how she did not want to get married, okay, if I don't want to get married, I'm not going to get married. But she said it was because her mama was looking at her sideways because she was pregnant.
Right.
So she got pregnant, and that's why. Like it's kind of like saying, well, it was a shotgun marriage. What? Shotgun marriages, from what I understand, is you done got that woman pregnant, and her daddy's got the shotgun saying, I know one thing you're not going to do is have her walking around here being an unwed mother, raising that baby by herself. But I'm like, there was nothing. So you basically saying this was a hookup? He said that right after sex, she said, I think I'm pregnant. I felt it. And he was like, ain't no way. Well, it turned out that, she was. But it's like, so I just think that it's not something that is a...
And let me say this, Mama Noise, because I see your little struggle right there, just there. I do have a sympathy for Jada. I do. To this point, she is a damaged, broken person, and she's seen a lot of bad things from her mom. She saw her mom in drug use. She saw her mom in an abusive relationship. She's seen a lot of bad things, and the love of her life was killed. So I get it. I do get it.
But okay, the love of her life was killed.
The love of her life was killed.
But I think also in an interview she said that, I was pregnant, but in love with another man.
That's what I'm saying. The love of her life.
But I'm saying this is like, okay, well then why don't you just keep your legs closed for the other man?
Same reason.
Why are you hooking up with Will? Now you feel like you gotta. It's like somebody said, "Well, I'm putting these handcuffs on you now because now for life. I'm putting these handcuffs on you because of the one night."
Maybe the same reason Cam Newton is out here banging broads. He's just like the opportunity's there. Just because I'm in love with, I have this ideology of what I want, it doesn't mean I don't have needs, as the young folk would say. Look at that. Look at me being an old folk now. I got needs.
I don't understand why she had to put that out there.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know why that needed to be public knowledge. That sounds like something that you would find out if she wrote her memoirs, maybe back, and even then, I wouldn't even put that in a memoir. That's one of those, who was that kept saying last night? Jay kept saying, taking that to the grave. I took that to the grave. And you know what? For some stuff, you'd be like, that probably should be something that you take. That right there, I don't see who gains anything from that situation. Even the child that she was pregnant with. Well, wow. You weren't a child of love. You was a hookup. And mama was in love with another man. So why are you putting all that out there? For him to know him to find out.
Man. So that goes back to what I was saying. I don't know how you're supposed to build or go forward. And then Ron asked another great question. At what point do you get over the love of your life?
You may never, but you move on. I think that's the best way to put it, or at least for me, you move on.
Well, I can say so much about this, but I am going to pause on this one because this is not my story to tell. But I'll just say this: you have to, Patrice. You have to, like you just said, because. Okay, I'll say what I want to say about that situation this way. Is that truly the love of your life if that person is not with you? If that person chose someone else? Because here's the reality of, so I'm going back to the micro to go to the macro. Okay. Here's the reality of Tupac's situation. When he died, he wasn't with Jada. He was at
he's with Kidada.
Kidada Jones. So clearly he didn't want you. So wouldn't the love of your life need to be somebody that wanted you, that chose you? I'm asking y'all. Shouldn't y'all be in this together if that's the love of your life?
That's a loaded question.
I know, right? I'm like, wait a minute.
I'm asking. Okay, I'm asking the question. If it's the love of you, because she said he was the love of my life. Okay, but he didn't choose you. When he died, the day he died, he was in a hotel room with a whole other situation. And according to Kadada, they were the ones that were planning to be married. Right. They were the one that discussed, hey, we should make this, a thing. This is, I don't think he would have ever married Jada.
Were they ever a thing? I mean, the thing is, were they ever a thing? I knew that they were good friends, but
she said they were never sexual.
Well, I think she's saying all what she needs to say to save face. But the truth of the matter is, why would you carry such a torch for somebody like she has if you've never been sexual?
Maybe because that's something you really wanted, but you didn't get it.
On a platonic level?
Well, no, because that could be a thing. That could be a thing. I'll give you an example.
Come through, Soror.
There was a boy. Actually, he was my neighbor for years until we had to move abruptly. And my first kiss, and I love this boy. As a matter of fact, I not fought, but my cousin and I used to kind of fight over him all the time. He liked me and I liked him, but when he asked me to go with him, I said no because I was scared. I was little. I know that I was scared of boys.
Sure.
So I carried a torch for him for years. And we had like a little, moment where we kind of dated, but, didn't. And then when high school, we, were moving towards that, but then things went a different direction, but we were always friends. So I always loved this boy. And we had a special bond. Nothing happened. I mean, what was going to happen when I'm in that young? So I think that there are times. And in 1997, on the 4th of July, he died. It broke my heart. So I think that you can actually love someone and not have that type of relationship. Plus, some of us just are not going to be intimate with everyone. I do not know. Just no. So it's possible. It is possible. In her defense, it is possible. Maybe she never told him.
First of all, Soror, I appreciate that story. It was a touching story. And for you, because I know you, I believe your story. But I want to be very clear about my next statement. I don't believe nothing she's talking about right now. I don't believe none of that. And this is what I'm gonna say to you about that. Because, and I'm gonna use your story as the example. The love. Okay. I know how you're gonna answer this, but I'm gonna ask you this question right now. So would you consider that person the love of your life? Or is your husband the love of your life?
He was.
The guy was the love of your life?
Now.
Really?
What you gonna say now, Spin?
Because I don't know how that's possible if if y'all never get together. I don't understand that. I don't understand if and I'm not saying sexually. I'm talking about like your story. Y'all wasn't together.
No, but we had a special bond.
But that's okay, but that's different than being together. I've had special bonds with people. That don't mean that was the love of my life.
Apparently, you didn't think the bond was that special.
No, listen, I do think it was special. Two of them in particular, I thought were very special. But I know when I married you, because I told you that, I said, this is the first time I've ever told a woman I loved her and I understood it. So that's the point I'm making. We say that we love somebody. We say that we're bonded to somebody. We say that we are connected to somebody. But the truth of the matter is, do we ever really understand it until we go through it?
Well,
truly walk the steps of love out.
that was a lot to go through. So I think you can definitely love someone and not have like it was for us, our friendship was pure. I grew up, and I've told you guys this before, I grew up in a very abusive household.
Right.
And for them to be my neighbors and go to school, and some people would pick and find jokes about my circumstance, but he never did that.
Wow.
He never did that. And it was the way he looked at me, the way we conversed, when we talked, it was, I couldn't describe it. And so when he died at that point, I think the biggest regret for me was that I didn't say how I actually felt.
Okay, so
what you got to say now, Spence?
The same thing I said before. So until you actually walk the path of love with the person, how can that be the love of your life?
That she's talking about it now.
Your situation
I'm just saying up until that point. That doesn't mean that I haven't loved people past that point, but it was really like, even being married, and like I would have dreams about this guy. He never came to me as an adult. It was always as a child, and we were children. We just had that kind of relationship, that kind of bond, and no one else knew that we had that. No one was there, or people weren't necessarily present for our conversations. So I think it was probably the pure. He changed his hat, y'all.
I put on my counselor hat because so in listening to what you're saying, it doesn't resonate as a love as much as it resonates as safety and security. This person represented safety. He represented security. He represented protection. He represented everything that you needed in the moments that you were going through those really difficult times of abuse and those things that you were dealing with. This guy steps into a role and anchors your life in a way that had not been done. Now, from that perspective, I can see how that would become like a love to you, because you stepped in and did something that my family was not doing. That makes sense to me. That makes total sense to me. But when you now, as an adult, understand the totality of what you have dealt with as a wife, as a mother, it's not apples to apples. You see what I'm saying? It's what that was and what you have now are two totally different dynamics, in my opinion. That's why I threw my counselor hat on. Now I put my other hat back on. In my opinion, I could be wrong, but I think I am.
Yeah.
I don't think I am.
I think there's some element of truth to what you're saying. However, for me, that was something that was much stronger than just that. I think Ron has a good point too. It was we weren't there's some element of truth. However, there was more to it. I mean, because even as an adult, this would not have affected me as it did, because I can tell you, I hadn't seen his mom in years. And when I went home for my uncle's my uncle's funeral, God rest his soul, a few years ago, I just broke down. It was the first time I'd seen her, and I couldn't even get through a conversation without. So for me, it was.
I'm not saying there wasn't a bond. I believe that the bond was strong and real, and y'all, and ironically, I do believe that the two of you were in it together. I do believe that. I just don't know if I would call that the love of your life, because, and this is an outside looking in, who cares what I think, but but at the same time, I see what he meant to you. I see what he represented in your life. I can see that clearly. It was more than a friend, less than a lover. You understand what I'm saying?
I understand.
It's not a lover. That you never cross those lines.
No.
But and I would even add to the component of there was probably a curiosity as to what this could have been had you both gone this distance.
Listen to me. That could have been is a serious listen. Just those couple of words in itself, it has so much weight of what could have been. That there are people that will hold on to what could have been for the rest of their lives because it was a choice. They chose left instead of right.
Right.
And they living with the right, but man, that what could have been on the left is something that kind of hangs out here on the side and says,
yeah,
it could have been.
But
you know,
right. But I'm not like Jada. I have moved on. I have moved on. Yeah, he still carries a special place in my heart, but I have moved on.
But see, for people that have not moved on, but like her, that keeps the fact that he's even in the conversation after they've been married all this time, but yet every time you turn around, somehow she mentions Tupac. She mentions him. She talks about, the love of my life. Okay, clearly she has not moved on.
Is it unfair to enter a marriage, like Ron's question, without having moved on?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. And
it absolutely is unfair.
Yes, because it's almost like Will is the rebound.
Yeah.
But then to stay in it for so long, that's heartbreaking. Like it's like Will is almost paying, and we don't know for sure. This is just what we see, but it appears as though he's paying for this. Like he's being disciplined for something he had no control over.
Let me say this, because we've been saying this for days now, and a lot of people have been saying it. We don't know for sure. We do know for sure. These Negroes have been telling us everything that's been going on in their house. So we're gonna go by the information they've given us and draw our conclusions. That's just what it is. I'm sorry. We keep saying we don't know for sure, but we do know a lot of things for sure. We don't know everything for sure. We know a lot of for sure. Okay, I'm sorry.
Well, no. You're totally right. You're right. However, they're actors, so we know what they're putting out there, and they are good actors. So we don't. That's what I mean is that we don't know everything. We know a lot because they put in the business out there in some capacity.
Yeah,
but we don't know everything.
So one of the things we've discovered about this family, either they're great actors and liars, or they talk too much,
or both,
or it could be all of the above. I don't know, but I just think it's hard to build anything substantive and long lasting, and eventually the house will crumble if you're not in it together. And to marry somebody, loving somebody else,
that's what I'm talking about.
Yikes.
Yeah, she's at the point where there is a difference between, like, I could understand him have been like the love of her life, but then her falling in love with someone else. That happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
But y'all realize Will is the side dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a sense.
Like he spent 20 years as the side dude.
It's almost like, and this is bad. I'm just letting you know in advance. It's almost like I can't have Tupac sexually, but Will is available. Is her mindset. I really want Tupac sexually, but he like, man, I think sex would ruin what we have, is what apparently, from what I understand. And so she like, well, now I just can't go without. But Will is willing.
See, I don't. Well,
that's
if I believe they didn't have sex.
That would be terrible, to be honest. That would be terrible. Because
But if all she keeps saying is putting out there that narrative, I was crying, I didn't want to be married, I didn't want. What else should we come to the conclusion of?
Then just don't get married. I mean, if
exactly,
if you
that was
don't
what I was saying.
Get married, then just don't.
Then her mama gonna backpedal and say, I don't remember saying, that I was kind of forcing you to get married or whatever. And, and for that, and here it is, 30 some years later. Oh, for that, I apologize, for trying to force you to go ahead and get married.
No.
But you know what? We didn't catch. A lot of people didn't catch in that interview. After she apologized, Will said, but it was the right call.
Yeah, I remember him saying,
no, you think it's the right, and therein lies to me the real problem. He's saying, but it was the right call though.
Mm-hmm.
Well, to you, bro, to her, she don't think it's the right call.
So why doesn't she leave? Why doesn't she? I mean, they have enough money they can split up.
He makes a lot of money. He makes a lot of money.
A lot.
But she got her own money.
I don't know why. You know what? I honestly don't know what they're doing over there. I really don't. And maybe they do genuinely love each other. And it's, that's a lot. That's a lot to deal with right there.
It seems like a toxic love situation.
Oh,
we'll
Lord.
say that.
Mm-hmm.
Their house is like a compound. It's huge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Funny. You know what's funny? For years, people thought Jada and Will were goals. They were like, "Oh man, if I could just have a marriage,
right?
Will
Relationship
everybody
goals."
Like, now everybody looking at him like, "Oh,
nope."
I retract that statement."
I mean, that's just the thing. You never know what's happening behind closed doors.
You never do, man.
You never know.
Everybody's happy. Home ain't happy.
Right.
Well, that's what we seem to think is the case when you have all this money. You figure, well, then everything, just as much money as you have must be as much, happiness as you have in your marriage. Y'all over having many millions? Oh, well, then y'all must be overflowing with love and overflowing with just a peaceful relationship and everything's working out and you guys are just, the criminal.
Here's the reality. There is no vacation. There's no gift. There's no amount of children. There's nothing that's going to make somebody want to stay in a marriage they don't want to be in.
Well, but they've shown that you can just exist in the marriage and do what you want.
Well, if that's what you call existing. I mean, Mama Noise, the best part of our marriage to me is that you're my best friend.
Aww.
Like you're my best friend. We laugh together. We fuss together. We've cried together. You're my best friend. And if I didn't have that part of it, I think Ron would say the same thing about Vonda. I think, well, I don't know what Cuz would say about Oprah.
Nope.
Yeah, y'all know what
he would not.
I think they're. I don't know. I know he loves his wife. I do know he loves his wife.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he would call her his best friend. So I'm not gonna put words in his mouth. But my point is, I can't imagine having it any other way. I can't imagine having it any other way. And so when I look and see a couple that's not in it together. One of the reasons why we were asked to train and to do marriage counseling at our previous church was because I think people could see that we were in together. Like whatever we were going to go through, we were going to go through it together. And we weren't going to turn at each other and eat each other. We weren't going to be in the foxhole and point guns at each other and shoot each other in the face. We weren't going to do none of that. We were going to fight for this thing all the way through. And we're still doing that. And I think there's a merit in that is what's supposed to be for marriage. If marriage is supposed to work, you've got to be in it to get. Listen, the world is going to do everything it can to bust y'all marriage up.
Oh my gosh!
From financial situations to feeding us the wrong foods, and we got to figure out what foods to eat to stay healthy, to toxic shit on TV. I mean, it's just all kinds of things that the world is going to do to try to see if they can not contribute and help you stay together. You've got to fight together to make it, man. I don't understand how you make it if you're not on the same page. You could lie like we see some couples doing, but I just don't see how you do it. I could be wrong, but Patrice, I don't see how you do it. Patrice, like, I don't either. I got nothing. It's just hard, man. I think one of the reasons why this subject has resonated with me so much is because I am so pro-marriage. I am pro-marriage. I believe in it. I think it's a beautiful thing. I'm sorry. Ron said that's not his best friend. That's his knuckle. So that might be a higher level too, Gianna. So maybe I'll stop calling you my best friend and say that's my knuckle.
No, you don't
that
listen
might be
to
the highest level, man. That could be the highest level.
Don't listen to him. You know, we've always been.
That's the highest level. That's the compliment. Listen, one thing it says your best friend, but that's my knuckle.
No, you got a couple of friends that you call your. So
those my brothers.
No, well then don't put me in the category of that. I'm saying we have taught our daughters how important it is, how friendship is paramount to help you to understand the person. And, you know, because to me, and I've learned that through friendship, I found out, you know, you find out if somebody's on your side, find out if that somebody is a life partner, a spouse material through friendship. Because most of the time a guy puts on airs when he's trying to be your man, but when he's your friend, you know, all of the nonsense is down, you know, the force fields, if you will, are down, and you expose yourself completely. And you find out if that person is really a spouse material.
And I agree, but at some point, the connection is so strong that you might know.
What?
That's why Ron says the highest level.
Oh my God.
We done got through the fire. We done got through the flood. We done got through the flames. You might know.
Y'all are beautiful. That's amazing. Y'all are the cutest thing.
Thank you.
Thing.
Thank you. I think appreciate that.
Okay. I'm just saying.
But anyway, seriously,
yeah,
that's why friendship is so important. It's absolutely important because even when you get on my last nerve, oh my gosh, when something exciting happens, you're the first person I want to call. Even when you get on my nerves, I feel like I still got to call you. I still got to hear your voice. I still got to talk to you. You know, if something is hurt, somebody hurt me, or sometimes it's just something like, did you see? You know, it's nothing important. It's just
here's when you know you have achieved the highest level of you my number. When I quote the prophetic words of the psalmist and worship pastor Prince. He said, "Would you run to me if somebody hurt you, even if the somebody was me?"
Yeah,
I'm not sure it gets more deep than that.
I mean, listen, that is a very intimate song.
That's a heavy statement. He says, if I was your boyfriend, if I was your girlfriend, rather, would you run to me if somebody hurt you, even if the somebody was me?
Listen.
I did. I broke your heart. I disappointed you. But yet, like you said, oh man, I just got this raise. Let me call this nigga. You don't want to, but that's my knuckle.
Oh my gosh.
That's my
you thinking who can I call that's really gonna, you know, that I really just want to just spill it all out, that I ain't got to be trying to, you know, put on airs and try to act like something else. You know, I just can be fully transparent with.
That's all I'm saying. We in this together. And so I don't know. I that's why it breaks my heart. But I'm telling you something. I don't know how you can make it. Like my grandmother, my grandfather was married 50 years.
Yeah.
I don't know how you get down to that road not doing it that way. Y'all got to be on the same page, man.
Yeah.
Do you? I mean, Patrice, I mean, are we crazy? We might be crazy. I don't know.
I mean, you should ideally you should be on the same page. But I mean, if we go back to the whole situation with, you know, Will and Jada, they're not on the same page. Based on
They sure ain't, because she was out kicking it while he up in trying to get his life together in a rehab, and she out with Shonda Rhimes now just kicking it, going hanging out with her girls.
Can you imagine how awkward that red carpet event was with Jada being there? Like as soon as she showed up, everybody, you know, the whole red carpet was like, "Is that Jada? She out here without Will? Damn." You know that's what they were doing.
They were like, "Okay, is it like that?"
Your husband going through the most horrific part of his life. And you out like on the red carpet, like, girl, I look fly. I
can't imagine being somewhere trying to have a good time while my husband is hurting. I could hear him saying, "No, go ahead, go on out with your friend, man, please."
And it's again, I'm not judging her. I'm saying it just looks bad. It looks really bad. It looks real. It speaks to the level of tone deafness and brokenness and hurt and toxicity that they're going through. Like you don't see that. You don't see what that looks like. But those are my friends. But that's your husband.
So you guys know I haven't seen very many episodes. I don't even know if I've seen a full episode. So
you're not missing a thing.
So he was in rehab.
He's there now.
Apparently he's still in rehab. He's in a luxury rehab facility, as quoted by a couple of different outlets.
Like recently, now.
Like right as we speak.
Mm-hmm.
For drugs or
no? Well, I don't know about that.
We don't know what for, but we would assume it's because of all of the.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's the pressure of everything that he's enduring.
And she's out.
They showed her on a carpet with Debbie Allen and Shonda Rhimes just
1 week later. She's out kicking it.
And it's like, ma'am,
I don't know. We've gone through everything we've gone through together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I would assume, Patrice, that you and your husband have gone through everything you've gone through together. You even up to and including him helping you reconcile the situation that you shared with us today.
I think it in
his own way, maybe not.
Yeah. Yeah, in its own way. Yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't want to see you hurting. He doesn't want to see you. I don't know, man. I just can't imagine being in a marriage where we're not fighting for each other. I don't understand that. And so that's what makes, to me, that's the part that makes Cam Newton's statement so ridiculous. Because, bruh, you can't talk about anything related to women if you have not learned how to fight for your woman. And you clearly haven't learned that because you're not with the one that you got all these children by.
And he didn't learn the first time. Like, well, have you had one baby by her?
Oh, she ain't the first baby mama?
No, she's the baby mother of the gaggle.
That's what I just said.
But what I'm saying is that if you had the one baby and you felt like she loud, she ain't quiet, she don't do this, she act like she boss. Okay, well then, okay, don't keep coming back to the fountain.
But Mama knows I just said that. Now, doggone it.
Well, I said it in my own way.
Well, that just means that you guys are saying the same thing. So you agree.
Yeah, but she like to, you know, she be trying to steal my thunder.
Well, your thunder is her thunder, and her thunder.
I don't like to share my thunder. It's my thunder.
Yeah, that's why you put what you wrote down on the paper up on the screen. Like, it just want you to know.
But you know what? It just means I've trained you well. That's all it means.
The train well. You know what? No, that means we're connected.
Does it?
Yeah, it does.
But does it though?
Oh yeah, I watch it all the time. I'll be like, watch what he's about to do.
I can't stand you. I'm praying for that couple. I really am. Because I'm not pro divorce. I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
But I am pro healing. And you know, it's funny as a counselor. Sometimes you go through scenarios and you try to find the path of healing for the people that you're talking to. And you're saying, okay, if we can help them to realize this, then they can get to this. I don't know what their path is. I've looked at it. I've looked at it many, many different ways. And I'm saying, man, if they're not going to fight for each other, and she's not going to truly fight for her own healing. Now she'll tell you she's healed, but I don't know who she paid money to get counseling. They need to get a refund because that shit ain't working. I'm sorry. It's not. Because a counselor should tell you the truth, should lead you to real truths, not to what you want to hear or not to these false political correct nonsense that's out here today. It's just, you got to have real truth in your life. And if you're going to heal, because that's what the word says, the Bible says, the truth sets you free.
Yes.
I believe that. I believe truth brings freedom. Now, not to say that truth ain't painful.
So let me
right?
True.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
Okay. So
how we brought you on the show.
You said you don't believe in divorce. You believe in working it out. In this situation, what and I don't know this for a fact.
I know what you're asking me.
But it seems like
come on.
Jada is a narcissist.
Woo!
So
come on through, Soror.
Do you still believe that there shouldn't be an option for that, or do you believe that in this situation, Will's being abused? Imagine if she is actually a narcissist, the level of pain that he's going through and the abuse in that situation. Should he stay? Should they stay married?
Great. Oh man, what a great question. I and honestly, Soror, that's what I have as a counselor been wrestling with. Because I listen to their situation and I say, and by the way, they're both ego driven. Let's be clear. They are both ego driven for different reasons.
Yeah.
I think his reasons are his self-professed definitions of what success looks like, and the shaping of that as it relates to the direction he has placed his life in. But when I look at him walking on that stage, and I'm going to answer your question, when I look at him walking on that stage at the height of what would be deemed as success, because I need people to understand, I've said this publicly, but I don't think people connected it and caught it. He spent a year campaigning for King Richard. He knew when they finished wrapping that movie last year, he said, this is the one. This is the one that's going to cross me over to the place that the pinnacle of where I've always wanted to be. But where I failed in the past, I guarantee you this is the conversation he's had with himself and his team. Where I failed in the past is that I was the actor, Will Smith, not the person. And people don't vote for the actor, they vote for the person. So I've got to humanize myself so that people see me in a different light. So he coupled the launching of the movie with the launching of his book. Please don't think for 1 second that those two things were done not in conjunction with one another. They absolutely were. So this is the pinnacle. This moment defines everything that he's worked for. And in that moment, he still reached back to become Willie from Philly, the guy who failed to protect his mom, the guy who failed to protect his first wife, the guy who failed to protect his kids, the guy who can't get Jada to love him. He went all the way back to that woman and destroyed. And this moment is now synonymous with the worst moment of his life. Now, in addition to that, there is video of when he's walking off the stage, Jada's laughing. There is video of her being at the premiere the very next week after he's going through a situation and he's in rehab. You ask me, can they fix it? Would I advise him to stay and try to fix his marriage? I think my honest answer would be, I don't know how I could. Because he has stayed and tried to fix his marriage. He has. I would only advise him to stay if she is willing to go through real substantive counseling herself and dig deep into the real issues and traumas of her life. If she's not willing to do that, I don't know if I could in good conscience tell him to stay and fight. That's my honest answer. I don't know. I struggle with that because like I said, I'm pro-marriage. But how do you tell somebody to stand in a boxing ring and box the shadows?
Or to stand and be the punching bag.
He's done that. He's been the punching bag thinking, here's the irony of it. He thought if I take the punches from her, that will cause her to heal or get stronger and be better. No, it only means that she's going to keep punching you, bro. That's the definition of insanity. You keep doing the same thing expected, or that's the Alcoholic Anonymous definition, which I agree with, of insanity. Doing the same thing thinking you're going to get a different result. You're not. You're going to keep getting it. And think about this. Woo, this is where it gets tricky. That thing has gotten progressively worse as the years have gone on. Every time you try to give her what she wants, every time you try to be the hero of her story, every time you try to rescue her as the damsel in distress, it makes your life worse.
Yeah, it sounds like she's not satisfied. Especially with the 3 years you plan a party. Oh my gosh. Plan a party for me for a year. And you got me. I'm sorry. You got me. But 3 years? That's so beautiful.
I just can't imagine having done that, and that's the end result.
I think
I look you in the face and tell you you're a narcissist.
Can we just say the epitome of narcissism is her red table? Like, I'm gonna heal myself and I'm gonna put it out here for everybody in the world to have a front row seat, window seat to putting it all out here on this table. That doesn't sound like you trying to get no help.
That's crazy. It's crazy. You can't be daring. Well, see, that's what we learned, not to air our dirty laundry. You can be transparent, but you ain't got to put everything out there and then put it in a way where it just, if it's doing bad for, because it really kind of makes it seem like she's the bad person here. That's what it seems like.
I don't mind you sharing your successes and how you did it, because we learn from those.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what Mama Noah, not even kind of, that's what we do. We don't share what we still fighting through, because we still fighting through it. What is there to share?
Right. There's no testimony yet.
There's no testimony yet. We still in the test. So when we pass the test, we'll all y'all. Hey, man, this is how we got through this. Now we can share this with y'all. But until we get past it, there's nothing to talk about. But they sharing everything, and they ain't got through nothing.
Yeah.
So that's what makes it so. I don't know. Tree, that's a fantastic question. I don't know. I would not be able, in good conscience, to tell them to stay if they're not truly going to do the real work. And I mean both of them. Both of them. He has to stop trying to rescue her, and she has to stop putting him in positions to where he think he has to. It's a very toxic situation.
I think we said here on yesterday, the part about what we talked about, the saving someone. Now I forgot my train of thought. But it was, I mean, we were just talking about it, and just that, you can't the letting it go. I think it's what we were talking about just now, not yesterday. Just now we were talking about the how you got to move on and how you got to let it go.
Yeah.
Well, you got to want to let it go.
But some of it is not. Some of her stuff ain't even let it go, Mama Noise. It's some of it is just. Some of it is ownership. You got to own the part that you played in the whole thing. Like, whew, man, you know what's funny? I say this, and then Jada would sit in front of me if she was counseling. I don't even know where I would begin. I would be like, because first of all, I don't think we could counsel her in under 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
I think it would take about 2 years to really, truly get through all of it. It would take a while, man. It's not going to be a quick turnaround at all.
I think about what Sean said in the chat, and when he said, "Do you think the counselors are scared to keep it real with them?" When you have buku money and counseling, I mean, 20 years ago, one of our celebrity friends was like, counseling was $1,000 an hour. I don't know what it is now. That was 20 years ago. So you got somebody you paying.
Well, $1,000 a session. Not won't say an hour. Well, I guess I guess technically that's the same thing. It's about an hour most.
Well, right. So I don't know what it is
right.
now. So I'm saying, so when you paying somebody that much an hour, you like, do I tell them what they want to hear so they keep coming back? Or do I tell them the truth and risk that they won't come back?
But maybe they could be telling them the truth, but we also know they could be picking and choosing what they want to believe from it. Because just when I saw a video where Jada was filming Will and he was visibly uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And when she flipped it on herself, it's just like, she just seemed like no nonsense, but not in a no nonsense kind of way, like where we say no nonsense in a good way. It seemed like an unhealthy no nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
So they could be telling her the truth. I mean, they getting paid $1,000, a session. They got other clients. So she just she's picking and choosing what she wants to take from it. Who knows?
I would like to think, and maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, but I'd like to think that whoever's sitting in front of me, because we used to tell the people that we were counseling, I'm not charging you because I need your money. I'm charging you because I need you to take this seriously. And I'm hoping that the investment that you're making into yourself will make you take the session that much more seriously. So what I would say to them is, if they said, well, how much do you charge? I'd be like, $10,000. Well, that's a lot. I know. How bad do you want this? Well, we want to be helped. Okay. Let's see. This ain't about me getting rich. This is about you getting healed. What do you want? You see what I'm saying? Like I think you got to force people into a mindset of how bad do you want this? And then what I might do is 5-6 sessions in say, okay, now as you continue to do the work, we'll start knocking down the price.
But to piggyback on what you just said is now I remember my train of thought. It was something else. It was that when we were counseling married couples, the one specific couple that was infidelity, and I go back to this one all the time because it is significant, is that we just told them either you're going to forgive and move on, not to say that it wasn't. He wasn't wrong. The point is that are you going to forgive so you can move forward in healing, or are you going to use this as ammunition against your spouse the rest of their life? And if you are, we're just saying, you know what, maybe y'all need to go ahead and call it quits now.
Well, and it goes back to our topic. Are you in this together or not? If you are, then your mindset of the outcome of this is not I win, or he's wrong and I'm right, or she's wrong and I'm right. It's how do we win in the end? And if that's not the mindset, I don't know what we're doing here. Like listen, Patrice, full disclosure, I've turned down counseling sessions because I didn't think the couple was like, y'all not trying to win together. This is a waste of time. Yeah. Well, we don't mind paying you. I mind being here though, because I value my time. I'm not gonna waste my time on two people that don't want to be here together. Y'all not trying to win. You're trying to beat her, and you're trying to beat him, and I'm trying to help y'all become better, stronger. And if y'all not interested in that, we're just wasting time here.
And you got to be on one accord. Because you had the ones that
Patrice, I just said that, and she come back and say, y'all gotta be on one accord. I just said that.
No, I'm talking about, like, for instance, the one that tried to show up to counseling sessions, one would show up and the other one wouldn't. And you saying,
well, okay, how's that different than what I just said?
It's the way that a woman says it.
You know what? After this show, me and you gonna have a counseling session too.
Promises.
Oh my God, our marriage is ridiculous. That's
hilarious.
Okay. All right, that's enough for today. Patrice, you are awesome. Thank you for showing up and doing what you guys
are awesome.
Tell the people what all the stuff you got going on, so they can.
Oh my gosh!
Just do whatever they need to do to patronize you. Just tell them.
Well, thank you. So I have a couple of books out right now. Most recently, Black History Coloring Book. That's available on Amazon. That my daughter and I actually. It's an inspirational Black quote. So it's Black inventors, Black entertainers, educators, you name it. We put together a book that has inspirational quotes, and it's also a therapeutic book. So it's for adults and children. That's on Amazon, as well as Color Me Capable. That's a book that I wrote, another inspirational book for children that my son and I wrote together a few years ago. That also is available on Amazon. And most recently, I am working on a web series. It's called Bonsoir Shag Good Morning. We just finished filming the last episode.
Come on!
One. Woo!
Come on now!
Excited. Yes. So we finished all of season 1, and we were fortunate enough to film season 2, episode 1 as well. So we're in post-production right now. It's being edited. And last night I actually watched the rough cut of episode 5. And I'm just so blessed because
I see. Look at her, how bubbly she is.
my cast, they are amazing. The last part of episode 5, we actually did we changed things up because I got some news. One of my actors was moving. And so we had to basically improv the last bit because we were going to do it the next time, but they were moving. And they're still in the show, but they live now. Thank you. They live now on the other side of the country. But we improv'd it, and I was watching it last night, and I was so amazed at what they did and how it came together. So I'm so excited. I don't have a release date just yet, but know that I'm working on it. I'm not going to release it until I have every episode edited, but it's coming. It's coming.
It's coming. We close.
Subscribe to Patrice Moreaux on YouTube, and I'm going to get back to my glow up videos as soon as I free up space on my phone.
That is important. That is important to do that.
Mm-hmm.
You are just so dope, I tell you.
Thank you.
We appreciate you and your perspective. We definitely appreciate your perspective. And thank you for being so transparent today. That was a really powerful story you shared there. You had me switch hats. I don't normally switch hats.
We might need to holler at you about who your publisher is, because me and Mr. Noise have wrote a book over the pandemic.
We've been vetting publishers here lately.
And we were trying to find the right publisher, because this book is what you see on what you see on a daily basis and what you see on the web series I Still Do, all poured in with the backstories.
All right, now.
And listen.
We will definitely talk. I actually self-published my books, but I did it on purpose. And so that I could keep creative control.
There you go.
My big fear was that someone else would get it and turn it into something that I didn't want it to be. Now, the book that I'm working on now, it's a young adult/adult book, and it's actually kind of like chronicles of my life experience that I'm finally at a point where I can share. That one I will look for a publisher, but I do have resources for a publisher, so I'll definitely share that with you.
Thank
and
you.
help you in any way I can. You know me. I'm happy to help in any way I can.
Yes, you are. You know what? I hear people say that all the time, but I think in the dictionary there's your picture next to happy to help.
Oh, I love you.
She really does. She doesn't say that it's just, I'm saying that as a tagline because that's what we're supposed to say, or that sounds nice to say. Literally, I see her doing just that. If she says she's there, she's there. I mean, this is the Zetas of Omega Delta chapter.
I knew this was coming.
The Zetas at the Omega Delta chapter, them sisters, I'm just saying. She is a representation of the whole, So I am honored. And
I wasn't gonna do this, but you forced me.
Are you done? Are you done?
I wasn't gonna do that, but you just
wow.
We know she's dope.
I'm giving her flowers, and you just ruining and cutting the grass.
You are buying her an orchid, is what you're doing. That's different. and don't get me wrong, she's worth the orchid. I ain't hold you up. She's worth the orchid. But goodness gracious, my goodness.
Y'all are hilarious. Thank you so much for having me.
Listen, that was where the joke was, and she knows I'm always go for the joke. I have to play the joke. It ran through my mind. I said, "Oh, this would be the perfect time to drop that right there." So, but all jokes aside, you are worth everything she said and then some. And there is something about that Omega Delta chapter that is.
There is something about them. The also doubly Omega Delta chapter.
Yeah, I admit that. I agree, Mama. But the joke was right there. It was staring me in the face. I had no choice.
Thank you.
Real quick, some housekeeping things. Again, this is going down tonight, 7 p.m., 6 p.m. Central. The brothers of the five are going to jump in tonight and have some great dialogue. There is no Talkin NOIZ tomorrow night. The replay of this and last night will be tomorrow morning at this time. So you'll get a chance. If you missed last night, you'll get a chance to see it. And if you missed parts of this show, you get a chance to see it as well. We're gonna split it up and do half and half kind of thing, and you'll be able to see that tomorrow at 11:15. And then, of course, tomorrow night we got a very special interview with the new head coach of Florida State women's basketball, Brooke Wyckoff, and we're gonna have a good time with that as well on Believe in the ACC. So, thank you, Patrice.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
She's so sweet. He's just, you know what?
It's a Kentucky girl.
It's like watching.
You can take the girl out of the country, but you can't take the country out of the girl.
Oh. Talkin NOIZ. We'll be back tomorrow. Y'all so sweet.
We're talking